the entire world. In other words, wherever they are at, to preach the gospel to every creature. Every person, everything that can hear the gospel. Yes. But you could say, and the goal is souls. S-O-U-L-S. Souls. Let's say, you don't want to lose any souls. Let's say, boy, starting with your own.
I'm so glad that Jesus set me free. I'm so glad that Jesus set me free. I'm so glad that Jesus set me free. Singing glory, hallelujah. Jesus set me free. Well, the Christians had me bound, but Jesus set me free. Well, the Christians had me bound, but Jesus set me free. Well, the Christians had me bound, but Jesus set me free. Singing glory, hallelujah. Jesus set me free.